another episode of the Smith Boys Podcast. Brother, we're back.
Yeah, week 2, brother. Week 2 of Brother at the County.
Welcome back to the Smith Boys Podcast.
How's it feel, brother?
What?
2 weeks in. How's
2 weeks into your job? Feels all right. I'm a government man. Johnny Gov.
What's that one song where I am a lineman for the county?
What the fuck?
Who was that? Who did that? Glenn Campbell or some shit?
Yeah.
What the hell is even that?
I had no clue.
Oh, God.
I only know I Am the Walrus.
No, you'll have to play that song as the intro. I'll find it for you.
It's a small world after all. I did it with my mom.
Yeah, okay. All right,
All right,
brother,
so
let's do...
What are we talking on this
You
one?
know,
we had
I
a couple.
think-
We had a tough time coming up. Let me
think-
talk.
So let me talk.
We had a tough time. We had a tough time coming up with a couple topics, but I think we came up with a couple good ones.
Yeah, I think we wanted to start with kind of the state of the Red Wings. the Detroit Red
Specifically, and then
Wings.
we're going to talk all Detroit sports.
Since the hockey playoffs are kind of culminating to an end here, it looks like we're probably going to have Vegas and Florida in the Stanley Cup.
I would
Vegas has
imagine.
got a 3-1 lead over Dallas.
Who are you
They
rooting
play
for
tonight.
in that, by the way?
Vegas.
Why am I not surprised, you piece of shit?
I know you were. I'm rooting for the Panthers, by the way.
And the Panthers are already in, so we kind of wanted to touch on
Matthew Tkachuk, he's my boy.
touch on the Red Wings and maybe kind of where they're at, how far away they are. There's also some news. The main part I want to start with this is the news out of Toronto,
Yeah, this was
home of the Maple Leafs.
Was this shocking to you when Kyle Dubas left? Did he get fired? Is that what
He
it
got
was?
fired, I think.
Okay,
Yeah.
wow.
So, and him and Auston Matthews, the was he the captain? Number one player
Matthews
pretty
is the
much on the
captain,
Maple
yeah.
Leafs. Were good friends.
Well, he was the number 1 pick, Auston Matthews. Let's go back. He's been in the league 7 years now?
Some years
Since
ago.
2016? Is this what we're
Some
talking?
years ago. Top 3, 4, 5 player in the game.
Top 5.
One of the best players in the league.
Yeah, top
him
5.
and the GM of the Maple Leafs were real good friends.
Well, he was the GM formerly of the Coyotes. You know, that's where he came from, and he did some good moves there. And I think it was his Arizona connection, because that's where Auston Matthews is from, Arizona. So I think they knew each other, family-wise.
Anyway, so he got fired. The GM got fired. And
Right.
Him and Matthews are good friends. And
Yes.
apparently Matthews had said even if his friend, the GM, did not get fired, even if he stayed pat there, Matthews was kind of thinking that it was time he wanted out of Toronto. Now his friend is gone as the GM, so I can imagine he definitely is probably wanting out of Toronto now. So
Is Matthews the captain or is Tavares? I can't remember.
Oh, I think it's Tavares.
Yeah, sorry.
I
I was
forgot
just
about
thinking about
Tavares,
yeah,
yeah.
me too.
Um,
He's so forgettable in that series
Yeah.
against the Florida.
he's been forgettable for a while, but yeah. So
Ever since he got hit in that one game where he got almost like decapitated.
So where do we go? Does Steve Yzerman jump in
God.
the Auston Matthews sweepstakes and possibly cash in a war chest to trade for Auston Matthews?
That's the question, right? That's what
That's what I just asked you.
Okay, well, I
Yeah.
just want to know that's where we're going. Well, I don't know. Yzerman has been the Red Wings had shit luck.
He hasn't made any big
No,
moves.
I don't know what he. I don't know. I
Drafted-
trust Yzerman. I think Yzerman is one of the smartest GMs in all of sports. I really do. I mean, at least what he did at Tampa. He's not changed my mind on that yet, but I think he's really had some bad luck on the draft situation. I mean, they should have had the number 1 pick when Alex Lindfriere came out. Now, he sucks.
He's terrible. He's wretched. He's awful. He's dreadful. He sucks. I'm telling you, right?
But they should have had that number 1 pick.
They had the number 1 odds to get the number 1 pick this year too. They had the number 1 odds to get the number 1 pick, I think, and then they ended up in the worst
no,
case
that was
scenario.
the Pistons.
The
Pistons
Wings-
had the best.
The Wings had I don't know
Percentage to win.
The Wings had one of the
The
best
lottery.
percentage to get 1 or 2. They
Yeah,
had,
but
they
I
had like
don't-
they had one of the best
Chicago,
percentages.
I think, had the best for sure. They were the worst team in the league.
But the Red Wings ended up getting the worst possible place where they could possibly pick.
Ninth,
Which
it's
is
horrible.
Yeah, and that's what they got. And
Yeah.
that's the worst case scenario, and that's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
And Chicago tanked for, I don't know.
Oh, they're trying to get Connor Bedard.
Yeah,
I mean, he's the next guy, right? He's the next generational
supposedly,
player.
Yeah.
But
So the Wings have had bad luck because they Wings were in the Jack Hughes sweepstakes 2 years ago.
yeah, Jack, when the Devils has had like the 3 number 1 picks in the last like 12 years. They had Nico Hershiser as a number 1 pick. They had Jack Hughes as a number 1 pick. And there was some other frig in there as a number one.
Taylor
pick.
Hall?
No, Taylor Hall. He played for Edmonton, and then he got traded to
Tyler Seguin?
Tyler Seguin was on Boston. He was a number one pick out of Boston.
Devils had Taylor Hall at some point.
Well, they got Taylor Hall right now.
Oh, okay.
But he was not a number one pick.
But anyway, the Wings have been screwed by the lottery a number of times in the last 6-7 years.
Yeah, they have. Big time. I mean, to the point where you think there's a conspiracy.
And Yzerman has done the best he's could.
Yeah.
I would say.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got some nice players. I mean, Mo Sider, when they got him, was kind of like, everybody was like, who the hell is this kid?
Yeah.
And he turned out to win the
Calder.
the Calder
He
the
won
other
the
year.
Calder trophy.
Kind of took a step back this year.
I don't know. You read some of the hockey pontiffs, and you see that he was paired in a really shitty situation early on in the season, where I think he had to be more of the back guard.
Well, the team's terrible to begin with.
Yeah, the team is not very
roster
good.
is awful.
Yeah, I hate the roster. I don't even really like Dylan Larkin. I got to be honest with you. At least as a frontline center, he's not a frontline center.
Is Dylan Larkin ceiling a second line center?
Yes.
Oh, that's what I love about you, Johnny. You are just as sharp as a razor.
Yeah,
for
I agree.
sure.
I think Dylan Larkin
on a Stanley Cup team, for sure.
Dylan Larkin is the second line center on a good to great team.
Yes.
On the Wings, he's a first line center because
now, if you put him on Boston. You put him and Burt on Boston? Holy shit, dude. They're winning the cup.
We wanted to stick on the Auston Matthews topic here. So, as far as I'm concerned with it, I'm kind of all in. I'm down for...
So who are you giving up?
I would assume Toronto was going to ask for the likes of probably Mo Sider or Lucas Raymond, or honestly, probably a combination of both of them.
What about draft picks? I mean, you give up draft picks. I mean, those are easy to give away. Really.
I'm thinking they ask for Sider in like a first round pick this year, or possibly Sider and Raymond in like a second round pick.
I think you're going to walk away with you're going to. I'd say 2 first round picks in either Sider or Raymond, and maybe like a Berggren. Maybe Raymond and Berggren and 2 first round picks. Like that's what I'm talking is probably going to take is what it's going to take, and then Toronto's going to throw in a conditional like 5th, 4th rounder.
And for me, honestly, I would do it. Matthews.
I do not give up Sider.
Matthews is a 60 goal scorer, 40
Dude,
goal scorer.
2 years ago,
brother. 2 years ago, brother. You're acting like 2 years ago was a decade
I'm telling you
ago.
right now, dude. I think the best player on Toronto Maple Leafs is Mitch Marner. I don't give a shit. Hate me if you want, but I think he's the best.
I think
player on
Matthews'
Toronto
production goal-wise has dropped a little because of Nylander and because of the emergence of Nylander and because of the emergence of Marner over the last.
Dude,
couple
Marner's always been like
he's been good, but I mean, 2 years ago,
Nylander has now in the last couple of years stepped up because he came on really strong and then he kind of faded for a couple of years and now he came back on strong again. Where Marner was kind of good and
my
Matthews
point
was
is
good right out of the gate.
But Matthews is still a 30-40 goal scorer, easy.
Matthews is easily a 40 to 50 goal scorer for the next, you would say, 7 years.
Yeah,
easy.
Next 4 or 5 for sure. So you put him as your first line center. You keep Larkin.
The dude's only got to be 25 years old.
You put him as your first line center. You got
24, 25.
You got Larkin as your second line center, and now you start to surround Matthews with some speed on the first line. Okay, whether that's through the draft or what have you, the free agency, whatever. But as far as I'm concerned, I'm okay with trading Sider or Raymond or first round pick because to me. A middling, or I don't know what to call him middling, but an above average to slightly good defenseman is kind of a dime a dozen in the NHL. I think they could risk getting rid of Sider to bring in a generational talent like Auston Matthews. Because this team has to score goals, and Sider ain't scoring you any goals. Auston Matthews is going to score you 50 probably.
Brother, I'm telling you right now, if Mo Sider can turn into like a Victor Hedman type guy, a Drew Doughty type guy. I mean, he has that ability.
If he can turn into a generational talent,
he's on his way. He's on his dude. He won the Calder Trophy.
Auston Matthews is already a generational talent.
I don't know.
He ain't got to turn into nothing but a Red Man.
I don't know. I just think if you pluck
and Sider wasn't very good this year.
I don't think the whole team is very good. I mean, how can you say that he didn't have a great year? Well, he's the best defenseman on a real shitty team.
Well, he was good last year, and he wasn't good this year.
Well, I don't know. I mean, he had some really nice hits.
Sophomore slump.
I think he's going to come back better next year.
He needs to.
But my whole thing is, you pluck Matthews out of Toronto. He's surrounded by talent. He's surrounded by talent.
He wasn't when he got there, though. He wasn't
He
when he got there, though.
Well,
Toronto
Marner was there. Nylander
Toronto
came
was
in
terrible
there all
when they
there.
got
But
him. That's why
They
he
got
was
Morgan Riley. I know that's why they got the number 1 pick. I know, but like, dude, they've gotten so much better, so much. Dude, they got so much talent. There's no excuse for Toronto.
He was probably the main focus in turning Toronto around. Was him.
Oh, I agree, brother.
Yeah.
I totally agree.
So,
but you got to admit, dude, Mitch Marner is like a top 10 scorer. Like, he had more points than Matthews. He had 109 points this year. So he has more points than Matthews, I think, just about every year of their career. I would say at least half. Go back and look. But despite all that, yes, Matthews is a generational talent. But if you pull him out of Toronto and you put him on the Red Wings, I don't think Matthews is all that stellar because he's got nobody around him.
Well, first of all, I think
who's he going to play with?
First of all, I think bringing him here,
Robbie Fabry.
You think this is funny?
I think bringing him here helps make Detroit a free agent destination again. Because I think it would be easier for Stevie to bring other players in. Because I think other players would see and want to play with Auston Matthews. I don't know. I don't necessarily know if other players see Dylan Larkin as the captain of the Red Wings and say, "Oh yeah, I'll go play for Detroit."
No.
But Auston Matthews is kind of a magnet. I think other players would want to come and play with one of the best players in the league. So I think that helps your free agency. Plus, it sells you some jerseys. It helps ticket sales, which I know is kind of secondary to winning. Yeah. But still, the Red Wings need a lot of that stuff because that place is empty. They don't sell no jerseys. They ain't got no. They don't have any stars.
That's the one
they don't
thing
have stars, brother. You need stars.
Superstars.
That's the one thing that you absolutely do have to have in this town is if you went and got an Auston Matthews, this town would freak out and everybody would be buying Auston Matthews jerseys.
Oh, I'd love it.
You'd have one.
Boom! Boom!
Maybe not a jersey.
But I would say this:
or maybe a Red Wings shirt with a shirt jersey, a shirt with his name on the back. Maybe
everyone would want to watch them.
Yeah,
everybody would want to watch.
Ratings would go up a little bit
for sure. But
so you wouldn't do it. Sider's untouchable, but everyone else you would do.
Yeah.
To me, Lucas Raymond ain't that good.
He's not here, is he?
So
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Trade him.
Like if it was Lucas Raymond in a first round pick for Auston Matthews, I would say we just ripped the Maple Leafs off.
Yeah, I would say you could almost go to like Simon Edvinsson, the next guy that's Elmer Soderblom. I mean, all these guys, have at them. I mean, if you can get a guy like Auston Matthews.
Philip Zadina.
Yeah, well, he's worthless, really, pretty much. But I would say I'm okay with trading a couple first-round picks because you always get shit numbers anyway, right? So the draft never falls your way anyway. So what difference does it make?
Yeah.
So trade 2, trade 3. I don't care.
Would the Maple Leafs possibly ask for Dylan Larkin?
Do it.
What? No way.
Captain for captain. You know what I mean? Austin's going to come in here and be your captain. Larkin can go there, and maybe Morgan Riley becomes captain. Maybe John Tavares stays captain. Who cares with the Maple Leafs? But
I can't imagine the Wings would part ways with Larkin.
I don't think they would.
No,
I agree with you.
I would think
I would be okay with it.
I would think it would be. I don't think the Maple Leafs would ask for him. To be honest, I think the Maple Leafs would want either Lucas Raymond. I think it would be Raymond, Bergeron.
I'm silly with it now, but no, that's stupid. You wouldn't give up Sider. I told you that in the text.
The Leafs are going to want. The Leafs are going to
Larkin
want.
and Sider. You don't touch.
Let me talk.
Let me talk.
The Leafs are going to want either Bergeron, Raymond, or Sider, or a combination of two of those three guys.
Bergeron, Raymond, or Sider. Okay.
They're going to want either one of those guys and a couple firsts, or
Is
I
Bergeron
would
that
say,
good?
or I would say a combination of two of those guys and a first.
What do you think of Bergeron?
He's pretty good, yeah. I mean, I would part ways with. I'd part ways with anybody, to be honest, to bring Matthews in. I think he's young. I think he's in his prime. I think he's a generational talent. I think he's a guy that instantly puts this team on the map. I think he gets free agents interested in coming here, and I think he's a guy you build a team around. I don't think Larkin is a guy you build a team around. I don't think Mo Sider is a guy you build a team around.
But you would want to have Larkin as your second line, Matthews as your first, and then
Sure.
you want to have Sider, and then you kind of want to build from there, right?
Sure.
If you have to lose Raymond, you lose Raymond, but you want to keep Bergeron.
If you are starting a first and a second line with Matthews on one at center and Larkin at two at center,
You're going to win a lot of games.
You're cooking with something.
Yeah,
I
you're
mean,
cooking.
now it's kind of a matter of plug and play. Who can we put around these guys? And you need a goalie, which this team has not had.
They got Joe Veleno maybe on the fourth line, third line.
He got a lot of heat, last week.
He stepped on somebody's ankle.
Yeah,
in
that
the
dirty
World
play
Champ.
he did.
Yeah.
Bastard.
surprising from a player like him. But
I tell you how disappointed I am in Zadina. I had high hopes for Philip Zadina when they drafted him.
dude, he looked like a nice, slick little player. You know, he looked like
a Martin St. Louis type.
Yeah,
a guy
kinda,
that was gonna score 30, 40 goals.
He could find his way in the slot. Great shot. Sniper.
But he sucks.
Yeah. I guess the word is his compete level is low. He's got a low compete.
He's a low compete low.
Yeah.
He ain't very tough.
Yeah.
He don't play hard.
Yeah. So remember, he was going to fill their nets up with pucks. Like that's what he said.
You can't play in Detroit as a town. You could not have low work ethic.
No,
in this town.
but see, he's one of those guys that would definitely benefit from going to any other town.
Oh yeah, you send Zadina to like Boston or like L.A. or something.
Yeah, he'd probably get you 30 goals.
Yeah, instantly his first year he'd score 40 goals.
Yeah, but I don't know. That's it's an interesting discussion though, because Matthews apparently wants out of Toronto. Red Wings have assets to move to get him. Now that's the question.
Do you think they do it?
No, I don't.
I don't think they do either.
Would you want them to do it?
I would like them to do it. I think it would definitely. To me, I'm a hockey guy.
That's pretty good.
And the Red Wings just ain't been interesting
In quite
years.
some time.
In years. And that would get my eyeballs back on the product more, make it more interesting to me if Auston Matthews was on there.
Yeah, I would agree.
Because I think that would generate a little bit. I think that would generate some free agent interest too, and I think Stevie would be able to spend a little more money.
Yeah.
But another problem is what is Auston Matthews going to cost if you trade for him? Because I would recommend. I think he's only got like a year left or something like that.
2025.
So I would imagine it would have to be some type of sign and
24.
trade. It'd have to be like a sign and trade where Toronto would have to sign him to a new contract, and then you would trade for him.
Yeah,
so
but you're talking.
So what are you talking like a 5-year deal?
I would say you're probably talking 7 to 8.
What did they sign Larkin to? Do you remember? Was it 7 or no?
7 years, 10 mil, or was it 8
Was it?
or 170 mil, or when are you getting basically 10 mil a year?
Yeah, it was
a
a pretty fair contract.
Yeah, I thought he was getting 10 million a year for like 8 years.
Much better than what Ken Holland was signing guys for when he was here.
I think you're going to get
Ken Holland was given like Justin Abdelkader $10 million a year.
Yeah, I think Matthews, you're going to end up having to probably pay him 13 mil a year for the next 8 years.
Do it.
He's young enough. I mean, he's 24, 25.
Hockey's a sport when you're a guy like him, you're big, you're physical, kind of a
can play
power
a while.
forward type. Yeah, you could play into your mid to late 30s pretty damn good.
Yeah.
So, and he's got to be, 26, something like that?
No, he's got to be 24. He came in the league in 16, so he was 18 at the time. He started as a rookie. He scored 4 goals in his first game. You know that?
Well, what do you think, brother?
I would do it just because, you know.
Well, now you would do it.
Well, I'm just saying, like, look.
But you would get rid of
I have seen the Red Wings really kind of flame on the last, I'd say, 10 plus years now of guys. Remember the Gustav Nyquist's and the Thomas Tatars and the guys that were supposed to come in and just be dazzlers. They were supposed to take over for the Euro twins, right? Hank and Datsuk. And when Datsuk and Hank retired, there was really nobody else to carry the mantle, right? And so the Red Wings have been in a state of just frozen time up since that moment. You know, they had nobody cares, and that's really that. So they haven't developed anybody in all those years, really. And so, you know, Nyquist and Tatar were supposed to be those guys, and they weren't. And now you've got a new batch of guys that have been developed over the last 5 years.
And they're supposed to be. Well, then like Bertuzzi was supposed to be the guy.
Yeah,
he's
that's right.
gone.
Yeah, so
and
that's
Larkin
where
was supposed
6 years. 6 years. These guys have been in the system now. Like, and now it's kind of even the 6 less than 6. And so, what are we doing? You're no closer now than
they're
where
spinning
you
their
were.
wheels.
Yeah, so. You have to change something up.
You need to make a big move.
Unless you really believe in like Soderblom and Edvinsson and like that Finnish
Berggren.
kid, Berggren, and there's this Velo whatever kid in Finland, and these goalies, Sebastian Kosa. He's got to be a guy, because if he's not, and I guess he's in the conference finals of the ECHL.
Yeah,
or some shit like that.
Kosa I like. I think he's going to be good. But in goalie is huge, because I think hockey is a sport where if you got a really good goalie and just
look at the Panthers.
If you got a really good goalie and like a
standing
decent,
on his head
and a decent defense and a really good goalie, I think you'll win a lot of hockey games.
Yeah.
And you got a chance to definitely steal some series in the playoffs if you get there. So, and I think Kosa could be that guy. But this team ain't had a goalie in
Dude, you're going back to the same era, dude. I mean, that's Osgood. That's, Hasek at the end. I mean, like, dude, like, you're going back to those era, like, the late 2010s.
Who was the last one that had us in the... Oh, it was Jimmy Howard.
Yeah, Jimmy Howard.
Top
yeah.
Jimmy.
Yeah.
He's the man. Or he's the king. What was it? Top
Well,
Jimmy? He's the king.
Stop Jimmy, he's the king.
I guess that's why I say I do it, because you're kind of always looking to draft in that 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 range. And you're never really going to get the generational guy, because the cliff falls off after like 2 guys in the NHL
Unless you know what you're doing, you get lucky. Like, where was Kucherov taken when he got in Tampa? He wasn't a first overall
Was
pick.
he a 3rd round pick?
Yeah, he was a later round pick.
Yeah, he might have been. But dude, like,
And
look
he's one
at
of the best players in the league.
Datsuk, dude, was a diamond in the rough.
Zetterberg.
I mean, it does happen, but man, you really got to develop those guys. Those guys take a few years. Where like you need a guy that can come in at 18 and just play, like Seider did. Seider came in at 18 and played.
Connor Bedard is supposed to do.
Yeah, Connor Bernard. Yeah,
What pisses me off most is that, of course, it had to be Chicago.
Yeah, I mean, they go from like having Patrick Kane and Jonathan Toews and Duncan Keith and all these frigs now to like, okay, they'll just give him Connor Bedard.
I fuck you. We fucked you.
It's like, what the hell, man? Like, I really wanted Alex Lafreniere, and now I was like, man, glad the Red Wings didn't get the.
I wanted that
lottery.
Capo Kakov.
Yeah, he sucks.
Yeah, he sucks too. I also wanted
I wanted Connor McDavid.
Rasmus Dahlin too.
I wanted him.
Rasmus Dahlin had a horrible like first year or second year.
Now he's a star.
He's like one of the best defensemen in the league now.
I wanted Connor McDavid.
Who is that?
He's amazing. Dude.
Yeah,
I'm telling you right now, just a quick Edmonton tangent, in like 30 seconds. What the hell are they doing? How do you lose with the best player in the world? Like, by far the best player.
Because they
in the
have
world.
nobody else around.
They got
them.
Draisaitl.
Well,
they got Ryan Nugent-Hopkins.
Nugent Hopkins.
They got Bouchard. Huh?
Nugent Hopkins ain't that good. Nugent Hopkins was another guy that was like a number 1 overall.
He was number 1 overall pick.
Yeah, and he never lived up to the hype. He's a nobody. He's a never was. They got Draisaitl and Connor McDavid, and that's it. They've never had a goalie.
They got Evander Kane. Yeah, Xander Cage.
Vander Kane, he's all right. He's a sniper. He's a decent goal scorer. They got nobody else though. But that's the problem.
I tell you what, though, dude, it's so disappointing.
Maybe McDavid's just a shitty captain.
I don't know.
Maybe he's just a great player and just not he's just a shitty captain.
He could be, but I just find it amazing. But I'm rooting for the Panthers just to go out to finish this.
I'm rooting for Vegas, baby.
Kachuk, dude, he's unreal, man. He's Mr. Clutch.
Jack Eichel.
He's Jack Eichel. He was in that same draft with McDavid.
Jack Eichel,
he went second. But
March the show.
Yeah, it's going to be a good series. All right.
Yeah, we'll wrap that one up then. So I'm for an Auston Matthews trade at all costs. It sounds like you're for it.
Yeah, I'm for it too, because
but no Mo Seider. Anything but Mo Seider.
And Larkin, because you need the second line guy.
Okay. Well, I don't think it's going to happen regardless.
And me either.
I don't think Stevie's going to pull the trigger on anything like that. Well,
All
maybe
right.
we'll do towards the beginning of next season. We'll do stay the Red Wings again. Let them make some free agent moves, drafts, stuff like that, and then we'll do what we predict for them. Because I think both of us had predicted them. I think both of us predicted them to miss the playoffs when we did this beginning of the season.
Yeah, I don't think they'll make the playoffs next year either.
Yeah, we'll see what they do. But till then, Smith boys out.
People go bye-bye.